Good morning from Siargao Island, Philippines. Got a little bug in my throat. What are we at here? Hey, check something real quick. There we go. All right. All right. How's that? Internet. Make sure I was on. How's everybody doing today? Nick Lopez, how are you? How's Nick Lopez? I don't know if Nick is in here or not. He left that at 2:27 a.m. When the video goes out that it's going to go live at a certain time, you can go into the video early and write a comment. So Nick was in here at 2:27. Thanks for stopping in, Nick. Good morning. Jason Pike, how is Jason doing this morning? Hope all is well with you. Mike, our Philippine journey is here. Good morning, Mike and Arlen. How is Mike and Arlen? I see you just put a video out about the casino. I didn't catch it yet. But yeah, there's some nice casinos up on Clark. I think that's where you're at, on Clark. Gambling, big up on Clark. I don't know how many resorts, casinos are up there. I've seen one get completely built from like a hole in the ground, literally a big hole in the ground on up. That sits at the traffic light there on Clark, and right across the street a little ways is the old hospital. Nice casino. The other one right at the traffic light as you come in, that was all built right there. That was added on. There's some nice casinos up in Clark. However, I've walked into them. You can't film. They won't let you film. They're nice, but nothing like back in Atlantic City or Vegas. I've never been to Vegas, but they're nice. They are nice. You know, the bells, the whistles, and the noises coming off the machine and all that. There's another one I went up there near the golf course that sits on top of the hill near the Hilton Hotel there. Yeah, they're cool. However, when you sign up in the casino, they want you to sign up, right? Sign up so they can send you emails. Not only that, you get I think we got 1,000 pesos towards like a card, a paid card. And we go over and play for, off that 1,000 pesos. I don't think cocktail waitresses were walking around giving you free alcohol. Now, I don't know if the casinos still do that. Couldn't tell you. Maybe Mike's video will explain more. But none of that. But it was cool. It was a cool experience. I had to actually go in there and tell them, take me off your mailing list, because they were sending me all kinds of advertisement. But yeah, I got to check that out. Mike, our Philippine journey. Davao Don, hello, ladies and germs. Bruce, how is Bruce? Oh, okay, so Bruce just watched it. What is tonight? Sunday night, right? And back in the States, Memorial Day weekend. Am I correct on that? I even forget what holidays it is here in the Philippines. Picnics, Memorial Day parades, was always a good time. Always a nice time. Memorial Day. We just, growing up, we just hung out. We always went to like a state park, you know what I mean? And did like a picnic thing, cooking burgers and hot dogs. See, now I'm going to get hungry. But yeah, everybody happy Memorial Day. Peter Pete, hello. Victor C, how is Victor C doing today? Hope all is well with you. Mickey Shine, how is Mickey Shine? Got the little Mickey Mouse there. Little clapping hands. Mickey Shine. I went to Disney World, Jesus, years ago. I don't know, was it 10, 11, something like that? Host, do you have any updates on Frisbee? Frisbee. Not sure what you mean, Tony. Frisbee? Not sure what you mean. Bob, good morning. Bob, how is Bob doing? Fox Finding Life. Good morning. Good morning to you also. I always look at people's icons. You know what I mean? Fox Finding Life. So people have really cool icons and stuff. Then you got the ones that they don't put up a picture of themselves for some reason or another. A lot of times I've noticed that a lot of those that don't put up the picture, they always seem to be a troll. Not always. Don't get me wrong. A lot of trolls won't put up a picture, but I like looking at people's icon pictures. Good morning, Brian from San Diego. Bruce says he was just, yeah, I was right. They didn't give you free alcohol at the casinos on Clark. Maybe soda, maybe I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah. Grammy's got her groove on. Hi, everyone. Sandy from Michigan. Hi, Sandy. Thank you for stopping in a live stream and joining the live stream. Good to see you in here. Jersey Brian. Hey, good morning, Jersey Brian. How are you doing? ARES. Watching Mark's stream on a big screen and Brian's stream on a laptop. Awesome. Multitasking, right? Awesome. Andrew says went to Solaire, North Quezon City, Quezon Casino last March. It was great, nice rooftop bar. Tyler Morris says, not in the Philippines, the casinos here don't get anything for free except water. There it is. It's true. And again, who's running the casinos? I don't even know. Are they Korean owned? Are they Chinese owned? Well, they have to be, I guess, Korean owned, but I'm sure there's multiple business partners in that. Multiple business partners. But yeah, they don't give much away for free. Air is free. No, even car air. One time I went up to to get air in my tire, right? Let me check this quick. Air in my tire. And one guy, I said to the guy, hey, can you put air in my tire? He said something like 25 pesos or 20 pesos per tire, right? I looked at him and laughed. I'm like, nah, air is free. But yeah, I remember that. I just kind of looked and laughed like, nah, I don't think so, dude. I wasn't born yesterday. Mark took Fatima and the kids to the casino in Clark. Yeah, cool. I don't the one casino, the new one that they built that I watch, casinos on one end, then you walk, they have a nice restaurant. That's one thing about the casinos, at least when I was in there. Nice little restaurants in there. You walked over to the one wing, and then that wing was the hotel part of it. Checking downstairs, nice little lobby, nice little like bar area, sitting area. I mean, it was nice too. Really nice, really classy. And then I went up to, I think, the third floor because I asked if I could look at the pool. They say yes. Went up to, I think it was a third pool. Nice, beautiful outdoor pool. Sat up high, overlooked like part of Clark. You could see out really nice. So they are nice. Even the Hilton. The Hilton was kind of set up. The casino was on one side. The Hilton was on the other. Very nice, nice pool. Yeah, they are nice. They are definitely nice. Um, so you could take family there. I think they're family friendly. I would imagine, right? Uh, Jimmy Gable, new subscriber as of a couple of days ago. Really be enjoying your content so far. First live stream. Looking forward to seeing where you go with it. Hey, thank you, Jimmy. Thanks for stopping in, and thanks for being a new subscriber. Greatly appreciate it. I don't know, Jimmy. I just start talking, and if people want to put up questions about whatever Philippines, whatever they're doing in life, put it up there. We'll talk about it. But yeah, that's kind of like how I roll. Unless I have like a specific topic that I want to talk about. Um, but yeah, no troll here. That's me. All right, Jimmy. I believe you. Where are we at? Ditch Burn Jukebox. Hi, Brian. Watch Mike's video today. It was a good explanation of Hans Casino. I just went there in January 25th, and it was great. But just visited the Hard Rock Cafe, which is one of the best. Awesome. Hans, I think Hans, yeah. I think I've been into Hans. I'm trying to think. There's even one kind of like where there's other smaller casinos too. When you get down to the traffic light, those that are familiar with Clark, you come through Clark, you go through down the main drag, the main road, past the big casinos. They're going to be on your right. You keep going down, maybe one, two, or three lights down. If you look to the right, there's a big casino that's built there. If you turn right, that'll take you to the old hospital. However, if you turn left, that'll take you out towards Fontana. And as you're going out to Fontana, there's a casino right on your right hand side. It's not big, it's not tall, it's not flashy. Then, if you go into Fontana, there's a couple casinos in there. And they're once again, they're not big, not flashy from the outside. I've never been in them, but there's even little hidden ones here and there. The Hard Rock Cafe, I haven't been there. I think that's new, right? How much weight did I lose? Lead Handyman Service, Southern California. How are you? Um, when I first moved over here, within 6 months, 15 pounds. And that was normal. Um, every time I come over to the Philippines from the States, of course, in the States, I'm eating. I'm enjoying food from the States. Um, but when I come over here, just by my diet changing, and I think it's the environment, the weather, you're sweating, you're getting used to everything. You don't have, unless you're in a city, you don't have access to, you know, oversized products, I guess you could call it. But yeah, 15 to, I think total now I'm down probably 15 to 20. Even moving out here, I've cut down on a lot. I'll gain some weight when we go to General Luna. Oh yeah. RGF is from Vancouver, Vancouver Island, Canada. Where are we at? Sorry guys, I got to catch up. I'm behind. Oh, okay. Gary T, greetings from San Francisco, California. Can you give an update on the trike? If you didn't happen to watch, I did do an update on the trike a week ago or so. What else? It's everything that I wanted to do, we've done. Go check that video out if you haven't seen it. But as far as a newer update, I put the air covers on. Um, we still got to get the covers for the seat inside the Trike upholstered, and it runs. I mean, it runs great. We ran it the other day when we went down to the swimming area. Everybody, not everybody, but it was full of family members, and ran perfect. Everything runs. You know, the lights, the blinkers, the horn, everything runs. It's running great. We got to get it registered. But yeah, it's doing good. Doing good. Doom Buggy, hi Philly, how are you? How is Doom Buggy do? Doom Buggy 23, like his little icon. Your health has encouraged me to move to the Philippine coast. Awesome. Check it out. See if it is for you. Um, a lot has to do with, you know, how do you want to eat? Some people, they get stressed, and trust me, the Philippines can be very stressful. If you let it get to you, you've got to get past that point of it is what it is. Can't do nothing about it, and you'll be okay. However, sometimes I even get to that point. But some people get stressed and they eat. You know what I mean? Um, here, like yesterday, perfect example. Yesterday, I needed a new phone. My phone, the screen is bad on it, LCD screen. It's a Samsung S20. I forget. I know I spent good money for it. For me to replace that screen with an original Samsung, so I know I'm going to get the right product, I might as well buy a new phone. I'm over halfway to buying a new phone. So I went down and I bought a phone. However, we only take cash, no credit card. All right, that I'm used to. No problem. Let me get down to the ATM machine. Roll down to my bank, walk up. And I'm not like hopeful that it's going to work. You know what I mean? I'm not hopeful. Get up there. There was a guard inside. The bank is closed itself, but the ATM, I was told to say ATM, not ATM machine. ATM is got a sign. It says out of order. The guard's like, oh, no. I was like, all right, let me shoot up to the other two ATMs that I know by Purewall. Get up there, right up there. I had to get up there to the pharmacy anyways, Go over to the one machine. Unable to make your transaction. All right, no problem. To be expected. Go to the one right next to it. Unable to make your transaction. All right, no problem. Get what I had to do. Shoot back down into town. I know there's two other ATMs. Get to the other ATM. Once again, the old, sorry, sir, out of stock. All right. Finally went over to the other one because now there were people in line and boom, made my transaction. But sometimes things like that will really get you going, run here and run there. I just like, if it happens, it happens. If I get it out, I get it out. But yeah, that's about the extent of stress, right? Ricky USA, how are you doing today, Ricky USA? Archie says, it's got like that Superman icon doing a shot, it looks like. Having been to the Philippines 24 times since '86, Angeles, I enjoy watching the fun and games you deal with. I'm a regular subscriber. Yeah, fun and games. It's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt, right? Yeah. Is Fontana still open in Angeles City? Fontana. I was there years ago. Fontanas. I don't know. The Fontanas that I'm talking about is the Fontana up on Clark. They used to have a water park in there. and they had like, yeah, it was a water park. It was a cool water park. We went there years ago. That's before the bigger one was made. Had this like dinosaur theme going on. Had a wave pool. It was a cool little park. But then when COVID hit, the thing got shut down. It's all overgrown. I had gone in there one time and filmed, and it was like eerie, like an eerie, overgrown, scary looking amusement park, you know. Um, but then the last time I was there, somebody was saying they're going to buy it. I don't know. But if you're talking about that Fontana, the water park is closed, but the other part is still open. Yeah. I love Lechon. Greetings from San Diego Airport. Are you flying out, flying in, arriving? What are you doing? But anyways, if you're flying safe, have a safe flight. Have a safe flight. Looks like we got Mick Miek's Philippine Journey in here again. Our Philippine Journey is a huge S expat. Huge S must stand for smiling expat. Where are we at here? Watching from New Zealand. Howdy, folks. How are you doing? San Leos. It's got the Jolly Bee icon. Jim Wilson. Hi, Brian. How's it going? Jim from Ontario, Canada. Longtime follower. Loves the Philippines. Coming back in 2026. My Filipino wife is a nurse in Canada. Awesome, Jim. Longtime subscriber. Longtime follower. Thanks for following. 2020 next year. Next year, those days will drag, right? Those days when I remember when I booked flights here to the Philippines, counting it down, drag. But anyways, you'll be here in 2026. That's awesome. Jason Pike, thank you, sir. When is Fiesta? When you're going to have the bad boy? Fiesta is next month, early next month. That's when we're going to have the bad boy, and it's like other fiestas are starting also. Summertime now, with school being out. My wife's uncles, nephews, my mother-in-law, Bing Bing Ling, all of them. They're all over at another island here for their fiesta. It's a smaller island. A friend of the family lives there, and like, come on over for fiesta. I would go. However, like his boat he has, I don't, I don't want to go overboard on that boat, and it's not the greatest boat. And but there'll be more fiestas. But yeah, we'll be cooking that bad boy here early next month. No, I didn't get the Samsung S25. I don't need. Hang on. I don't need the biggest, baddest cell phone out there. I don't use all the power that is in a cell phone. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of power in a cell phone. You could do so much with it, just like equivalent to a computer. I don't go out and get the biggest, baddest one, but I'm not going to get something cheap. You know what I mean? I don't want junk, but I don't want to spend the big money. I just got, and I've always been a Samsung product person. I just like Samsung. I'm familiar with them, how, the layouts. So I got the Samsung A26. All right. I was going to get the A36, but they only had it in pink, That was a little more, unlike 901 Pink. So that's what I got. Simple little phone. It records in one of the things I look at is the video quality of the camera. For videos in 4K, 30 frames per second. So that's all I wanted. Because I use the phone for certain things for videoing. But yeah, I didn't get the S25. You always make such great arguments for why I don't move there. It's not for everybody, Bruce. You got to get I don't know. You got to get Philippinized. I don't know. Did you fill up your Trike tank at a gas station or a sorry store? Hang on, I haven't. My a gas station, Jim, right up the road from us, maybe a kilometer or so on the main road. There's a gas station there. That's where we went, and I used where I went up there to plug in all our electric products when we had that 2-week brownout. Went up there, they have a gas station, filled it up right there. But I know what you're talking about. Sorry store gas. In the Philippines, they'll take Coke bottles, right? And then you ride down the road and you'll see a little stand outside connected to a sorry store, and they have gas in them. And then, you need a little bit of gas to get you to the next spot. Roll up there, you buy it, you get that gas that's in that glass Coke bottle, dump it in your tank, and away you go. That's very common here, very common in the province. I don't think I've ever seen it up in the city. Yeah. Ah, yeah, not flying. Oh, you're at work? I'm actually at work, not flying. Oh, okay. All right. Where are we at? Ah, Swift. See, now I like his little icon. Kind of reminds me, kind of looks like the Undertaker. Have you ever tried a Suzuki Bergman scooter? Lots of leg room for the tall. Never. Never tried one out. Never even looked into them. Couldn't even tell you what they look like. I probably have walked by many of them, but no, never tried one out. Lots of leg room for the tall. I like my NMAX. Plenty of leg room for me, for my size. Oh, you have the 25, you say, but it works fine, but it's very heavy. Kyle and Lean. Good morning from Washington State. We've been subscribers since 2017. Wow. That's going back. Awesome. Hey, thanks for sticking with me over the years. 2017, trying to think, 2016 we came over, so 2017, that was a province, kind of, and then our first, hang on, what? That's what she's here for. I'll give you a guess what she's here for. Huh? Huh? Oh my God, the rich foreigner is giving his money away again.
But why did you want me to ask money? My neighbor.
Yeah, get some credit from the neighbor. What are you getting? Eggs? Gotta get some eggs. That's for me. Yeah. Huh. Hear you now. Yes, Samsungs are for smart people. iPhones are for the sheepless masses. Everybody has their own preference, right? Like that's the thing. iPhone, Samsung, iPhone, Android, uh, Apple product. It just, I don't know. Everybody has their own product they went with and they just stick with it, right? You gotta understand something. Old guys like me, Bruce, I see Arturo down there, probably Jim, Mike. Growing up, we didn't even know what a cell phone was. We didn't have cell phones, let alone computers. Ah, yeah. Yeah, see, Bruce goes back. Bruce goes way back. Mike goes way back. A lot of you guys go way back from originally, from our original move into province, 2016. Lutz province, where her father's from. Yeah. Good morning, Arturo. I seen you down there. Thanks for stopping in. I'll start a 5-6 business. Yeah. Wifey didn't seem impressed. Miek's still here. Uh, Samsung's a really good phone. Yeah, I enjoy it. You know, I there's another guy I watch on YouTube here. I watch this guy for news. Let me get out of here and go over here. Bring up my channel and my subscription list here. Where is he at? This guy talks about news. Kind of looks like I just lost it. Let me go here. So the guy talks about like the news and what's going on in the news in the Philippines. There he is. It's called Asian Now. That's the name of it. Um, I don't know what nationality he's from or what nationality is or like his whole story. I just sometimes his headlines of his videos catch my eye, right? Like foreigner sentenced to jail for acting like an idiot. FAFO is real. It's called Asian Now. Asian Now, that's it. Um, Another foreigner killed in the Philippines. Two more fell victim to robbery in BGC. So I'm like, the guy catches my eye and I start reading it, right? Or I start watching it. And they had a shooting up in northern Luzon. All right. From what he was saying, it was a Chinese fella. All right. Uh, Asian Brian Asian now is an Alex from Canada. Alex from Canada. Okay. Um, this guy that was shot, murdered, whatever. Um, Northern Luzon. They're saying it was Chinese. All right, and he was get this. This is what's just like wow. He was attending a wake. He was attending a wake, right? Isn't that wild? And two gunmen on a motorcycle shot him and killed him, attending a wake. Right? What that was all about, no clue. Did he get robbed? I don't know. What it was all about, I have no clue. And then there was an attack in BGC. Two men on a motorcycle. And I have my thoughts about that. They shouldn't be tandem riding on a motorcycle, two men. That's how they do it down in Davao City. No, that's not happening. And their crime is way down, hardly any. Robbed these two Korean fellas in BGC. They got like how much? Like 200,000 pesos in jewelry and stuff. But yeah, that guy, his channel. You guys, okay, you guys, I seen the comments here. Asia now is Afghan from Canada. All right. Asia now is Alex from Canada. Alex or Afghan? Or he's Afghan from Canada and his name is Alex? So, Scott, I've been watching Asia now for a couple months. It's good. Yeah. It gives you like the news of what's going on. I like him. Another one that I watch. Hey, mate. Peter says, hey, mate, I built a small resort in northern Samar. Been here over a year, getting dual citizenship next week. Life is great here in the Philippines. Love your channel. Awesome. Awesome, Pete. Thanks for stopping in. A small resort in northern Samar. Cool. How's the resort? How's business? All right. I would imagine small resort, you're taking in all business. But yeah, cool. Life is great here in the Philippines. Jim says, you know, Brian, I had a bag phone back in the day, and I had my cell phone number since 1988. So I'm old. Yeah. 1988. We didn't have a cell phone. They were just starting to come out, and they were big, right? They were big. Bruce says, Alex has 2 channels. All right. Angelo, how are you doing, Angelo? Thanks for stopping in. Good morning. That must be either his daughter, a granddaughter, by his icon there. Yeah, you're right there. The two-man tenant is common practice. I know in the province where we first lived, where Luis's father's from, when you come into the one town, Baraboo, it's called Baraboo, right? That's your main town. That's where everybody comes down in from the provinces to do some shopping. The market's down there, nothing, it's not very big. As you come in, they have security there, and you take your helmet off and you pull down whatever face cover you have, you pull it down. You are not coming into that town without doing that. Now, is it 1 or 2 reasons, in case something happens down there, or in case maybe they're looking for somebody? I don't know. Because that province was like really, hard. A lot of NPA running there. Not many foreigners. I think one aside from me, and he was an older gentleman, and he was sickly. He was in his house. He wasn't going nowhere. Occasionally, and I mean on an occasion, you would see a foreigner traveling via the bus route. But yeah, they would make you take that off. Yeah. Where are we at here? What are you talking about, Alex? It's Alex Asia Now and Living Abroad are both his channel. One is more about interviewing people, and the other channel is new. Cool. The guy must, good for him. He's got a YouTube channel, and he's working it. How he has to work it to make him money. Guys, people do make a living and do travel the world from YouTube channels. They do that. That is their thing. That is how they make money, and that's how they travel. And I am like, I envy them that they can do that. That's that new technology that us old farts didn't grow up with. See, I'm not saying we're old farts. Because we're not old farts yet. All right. But we didn't grow up with that, and they had that they had that knowledge to be able to take things on the road and make a living. I see it here with the young crowd in General Luna. Like, and I always say to them, how do you do it? Look at me like, what do you mean? Oh, well, I work online. I do this, I do that, I do this. And I'm like, but you're young. I said, like, you guys are, I envy you that you can do that. Now, they don't live like superstar rock stars, you know what I mean? But they're at this moment in their life, they're able to do things like, you know, live around the world. You know, we grow up, get a job, save money, have this, have benefits. You know, their mindset is different, but they're young. Who knows? Maybe where they work online, they do have all that. But I envy that. I think that's awesome when people can do that. I thought they outlawed tandem riders except for taxi service and BGC. I don't know. I don't know, Mike. I don't keep up with all that that's going on in the bigger cities. I don't know. Another thing too, Mike, come on. They can outlaw stuff here, but or make it on the books, but we know how that rolls. The enforcement thing. But I really couldn't tell you if they did or if they didn't, Mike. Awesome. My Life Tour 5.0. Hey, Brian and Lut. Watch you from Calgary, Alberta. I love your channel. I've been a subscriber since 2019. Never missed a video. Thank you. Thank you for stopping in. And hey, thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it over these years. It's up, it's down. Life is all what you make it, right? But thank you. Thank you so much. Jason Bourne. We got Jason Bourne here. How you doing, Jason? Thanks for stopping in. For weather, I watch Westpac with Robert. Is good for your updates. Weather area is great too. Hang on. Is that who I watch? Let me go back here. Let me go back here. I think it is Westpac. Where are we at? Subscriptions. Westpac. Oh, yes, Westpac. That's it. Westpac WX. That is the name of it. Westpac. Westpac WX. Check that out. Check out that channel. They give you he does great weather, and it's in English. I don't know his whole story, where he's from or anything like that, but he has all the cool things going on. Like he shows the Doppler and he shows how the winds patterns are coming in and affecting this area. And it's all of if I'm not mistaken, all of Asia. He does not just the Philippines, but all of it. How that wind pattern comes in up north above the Philippines and it curls around and comes through. He gets really into it, and you learn a lot. You can learn a lot about the weather patterns of the Philippines and Asia. You know, how things roll in, sort of like how when I lived on the East Coast, how the weather would roll across, from the west, across the states, and the tornadoes and the rain and the thunder and the snow and the north. The guy really gets into it, and I think he's probably the best for the Southeast Asia area, my opinion. But yeah, he's good. Oh, I'm sorry, I get talking. The old brick phone was 2,000 pesos. Jim Wilson. Brian, have you heard or seen anything? Nope. From the old Clark Hospital, nothing. And I always check. I do. I wish somebody could get in there and film it, update and everything. I wish somebody could. But I always do check on YouTube, a search, every other week or so. All right, Clark. People will go to the outside, talk about what's going to be done. They show the outside area. But nobody goes in. Now, if somebody has seen a video of somebody going in new with a new update, feel free to let me know. But nothing. I just turned 59 Saturday. Happy birthday, Jim. You got 2 more years on me. 2 more years. And then July, you'll have 1 year. So happy birthday. Where are we at? George K, a couple days ago, flight from Tokyo to Houston. Had to land in Seattle. Somebody tried to open an emergency door mid-flight. Wow. And you wonder what, when you hear things like that, and I'm going to tell you one after this. When you hear things like that, you're like, what is going through somebody's mind? You know, do they have a mental issue? Do they have did something trigger them to like panic? You know, are they on some type of medication? Like, who in the right mind in an airplane would like want to go open the emergency door, right? Like who? Like what triggers somebody? And then, the airplanes nowadays, they have protocols that they have to follow, I'm sure. Scenarios. Are there undercover officers on the plane? These people that work these airlines have to be able to, think on their feet on how to react to situations like that. Nothing's ever standard, but what triggers somebody to do something like that? Here's the one I seen the other day on the news. All right. Philadelphia, let it up to Philadelphia, right? A road rage incident, right? Happened. I don't know what kicked off the road rage, but this road rage incident happened. The lady gets out of her car, walks up to the front of the other car. Now, all cars were stopped, all right? She pulls down her pants and proceeds to do a number 2 on the front hood of the other person's car. All right. Like what possessed her to do something like that? Like, huh? Why would they do that? Like, and I think they caught it on film, but what goes through people's minds, are they kwang? I don't know, but wow, that angry that you want to K2 on the hood of another car. I got back to when you walked down 4 corners. I'll go back to when you walked down 4 corners. Anna Grace just being a tub before lit open. Okay, I remember that, Jay. 4 corners down at the old First Sorry store there in Daul. Yeah, that was cool. I've done a lot, right? I'm not bragging, but I don't like to sit. I'm sitting more now on my ass in the province, and I don't mind it than I did in the city. But a lot of places to go there. Yes, Brian, armed passengers on flight are common. The pilot will get notice of which passengers are. Okay. All that changed after 9/11, right? A lot of that. Jeffrey says, I wasn't ready for this. After staying in the Philippines, you're required to pay an exit tax. I'm not even a Philippine citizen, unable to obtain a boarding pass until I paid. Be forewarned. I'm not, if things didn't change, if you are over 6 months, you have to get an exit clearance. I'm not sure how it all rolls anymore, But I do know if you've been here over 6 months, in other words, if you've come to the Philippines, you keep extending your visa, extending, which people do all the time, and you can do it. Once you hit that 6 months, anything past that 6 months, and you want to return back to where you came from, say back in the States, you have to get an exit clearance. You have to. They won't let you get on a plane or maybe even go through customs unless you have that clearance. As far as paying a tax, I paid an exit tax when I left, and I'm a 13A visa holder. Yeah. She couldn't hold it any longer. Yeah, number 2, right? Yeah. Have you ever drank coffee at the Spotted Pig there in General Luna? Good place for coffee. Yes, I have. Journey in Bohol. I went there, and because you always hear about the more popular places that a lot of the foreigners like to go to here in General Luna. And a lot of people that go to these places are like your backpackers and stuff, nomad travelers and all that. So they have their own little, websites or, even YouTube channels, and they, say, here's a good place, here's a good place. And the Spotted Pig was one. And we stopped there. We had coffee, we had breakfast. Pretty cool little place. It does get full. It's not very big, but a pretty cool little place. I can say I've been there. I've done it. Coffee's good. Breakfast wasn't to my liking. They didn't have that extensive menu. A lot of places have like vegan stuff, you know what I mean? Or like yogurt, nuts, and all that, which is cool. I've had them. But yeah, I've been there. Pretty cool little place. I would recommend anybody going there and checking it out because it is cool. Mike says, I'd never heard of an exit tax, but you do pay a fine if you overstay for 30 days and don't extend. Then you have to pay. I found out the hard way. Yeah. Extend. If you're going to extend, make sure to, if you're going to stay longer, make sure to extend those visas. Mike says there are a few cheapo airlines that do not include an exit tax in their tickets. It's different than an exit clearance. Okay. All right. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for sharing that. I don't know. I'm not going to tell people something. Mike flies a lot. So he would know more than me. Guys, here's another thing. Quick, hang on a second. I got to quick do something. I got to put myself on pause for a second. All right, I'm back. There we go. Guys, here's another thing. All right. You guys are right around my age. Some are a little older, some are a little younger. Guys, I was going through YouTube and just started listening to music. There's music I like to listen to. James and Karen, good morning to you guys. But you realize a lot of the musicians that we liked are like old now. And what do I mean by that? Like Billy Joel, right? Billy Joel. Neil Diamond. I don't even know if guy's still alive. But these are like the songs I grew up listening to. I never was one like, oh, I hate country. I hate this. I hate that. I'll listen to it. I'll decide on my own if I like it or if I don't like it, right? But man, some of them musicians, wow. Like it was Billy Joel live at Shea Stadium. And he had a full orchestra band. Well, not a full orchestra, but he was up there playing and playing his piano. Scenes from an Italian restaurant. All right. Wow. I remember listening to that, but it's come such a long way. Like some of these musicians, like Neil Diamond, Coming to America. You remember when that song was like playing on the radio all the time? Like, and I just watched him in concert. He's got the voice. It's a little older, but he still has a voice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's crazy. Billy Idol. I just watched this movie. It was based like in the 80s. And they were playing these old music. And I'm like, and I'm singing along with it. When I mean old, I mean like, what, 80s? You know what I mean? And Luke's like, how do you know all this? I'm like, I grew up listening to this. These were the songs that were on the radio like every day that were very, very popular. You know, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Now you're talking. Yeah. Yeah. These are songs that and musicians that we grew up. Heart. Yeah. Cracklin' Rosie, my favorite song from Diamond. Heart. Mike, you are correct. Our Philippines journey. Check out Heart at I think it's at the Kennedy Center. Their tribute to Led Zeppelin. All right, check it out. They sing Stairway to Heaven. All right, and they have guitars. They have Jason Bonham is on the drums, and he's playing the drums, and it is the best remake of a song. They didn't remake it, but you know what I mean? A different musician sing it than I've ever heard. Oh my God, it was awesome. Awesome. Heart at the Kennedy Center, Led Zeppelin's like thing. Awesome. But yeah, Heart is good. Keith Richards is 81. In the 70s, nobody would have believed he'd last that long. See, and I was never, I mean, some people liked, you know, the Rolling Stones, and I liked some of their music. Of course, they're the popular songs, but I didn't run out and like buy an album or, yeah, remember we had to buy albums or anything like that. But yeah, I like them, but I wasn't really big into them. Then you got ones that are older that like Beatles. I don't know. I mean, I was never into the Beatles. The Wedding Singer has all the 80s classics. Yeah. That's like, what did I watch? The Breakfast Club the other day. Remember that? Yeah. Journey. Yeah. See, we're all on the same wavelength, right? Now we all know what we're talking about. Sticks. Jason Bourne is watching you and the Ugly Tourist. Thank you. Tell the Ugly Tourist I said hello. I know it's Ding's birthday. I think that's what he came up with. Tell him I said hello. The Eagles, yes. James, the Eagles. Let me tell you a story about the Eagles. You know, the Hell Freezes Over tour. The Eagles split up, and I think they asked Don Henley, when are you going to get back together? He said, when Hell Freezes Over. So they had the Hell Freezes Over tour. They all got back together. I seen them in Cleveland, Ohio, at the old football stadium, live. My seats were up here, but I can remember they were all up on stage. You had big screens set up so you could look, you know, down and see the screens and playing. I remember looking down onto the stage. They were all up on the mics, just strumming away and singing in harmony. And then all of a sudden, lightning flashed across Lake Erie. And it was just, I mean, when that happened, it like took a snapshot in my mind, and I still remember that picture today in my mind, and it stands my hair on end. See that? It stands my hair on ends. That's how cool it was. Well, yeah, the Eagles, Toto. Yeah. Oh, so you've seen it, Mike. Yeah. Mike, turn your speakers all the way up and just play it. You know what I'm saying? Alice Cooper, David Bowie had crazy shows. Yeah. Alice Cooper, there was another one. I had listened to some of his popular music. I was never like an Alice Cooper crazy fan or anything like that. Same with David Bowie. I listened to some of his his most popular songs because they were on the radio. They were the top, 20 of the week. Did they have a countdown? Remember the countdown? Oh yeah, some of Led Zeppelin guys cried. That was Robert Plant. That was Robert Plant, the lead singer. He teared up in his eye, man. Speaking of Led Zeppelin, let's go through here again. AC/DC, yeah. Went to Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon concert. You lucky dog. You're a lucky dog. Two bands that I would love to go see. Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd. Jefferson Starship, yeah. Aerosmith. Bruce says Willie Nelson is older than dirt. I guess the stuff he smokes keeps him going. It must. It must be. Yeah, Willie Nelson. ZZ Top. Tom Petty. Kiss. Jim, we are on the same page. Freaking Kiss. Saw them in concert twice. Twice I seen them in concert. I'll tell you my story about Kiss, right? When we were growing up, my family, my dad and mom were very religious, always going to church, and we had to go to church and everything like that. I remember my dad one time getting my brother and me, sat us down in front of the TV, right? We were little, turned on Kiss. There was something, I think it had to do with the news. Of course, Kiss being the devil, you know what I mean? He made us watch part of this documentary where Gene bit the blood and Ace was playing and sparks were flying and all, you know what I mean? And he was dressed like a demon and the Star Boy, and you know what I'm talking about. My dad's like, this music is of the devil, right? I can remember this. This music is of the devil. This music's not good for you, right? Because religion, religious, strict, hardcore Baptist, right? So I always remember that. So then my brother said to me, we were older now, right? On our own, out and about. He said, hey, he goes, the original band members of Kiss are getting back together to go on tour. All the paint, everything like that. You want to get together and go to it. I'm like, you're damn right. You know what I mean? So we got tickets, went down to, I think it was the Spectrum at the time in Philadelphia. And then we seen him in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Ted Nugent opened up for him. How about that? The Motor Man, how was it? The Motor City Madman, Ted Nugent. All right. We bought our T-shirts at the concert, right? A couple days later, we called up my dad, like, hey, let's go out for breakfast. All right. Well, now we're all older. And we walk into breakfast. We have our T-shirt, concert T-shirt on. Like, hey, Dad, how you doing? Hey, hey, Dad, remember these guys? Remember these guys? And he's looking at her shirt and he starts laughing. He goes, yes, they're of the devil. And I said, well, we just seen him in concert. By this time, he wasn't like as crazy into his religion as he was before, you know what I mean? But there's my Kiss story. Ah, yeah. Billy Joel just canceled remaining tour dates due to health problems. Yeah. Yeah, they're getting older. and Billy Joel and order they're going on tour, they're traveling, they're hotel, I don't know, hotel to hotel, but concert to concert, and yeah. Cheap Trick has not lost a step. Yeah. Cheap Trick was another one I watched. What a story from going singing karaoke. You're talking about what's his name? Panita Arnel Panita, singing karaoke in the Philippines to lead singer of Journey. Crazy story. Here's something, Mike. Before he is who he is now, he used to sing up in Angeles City there. I forget what club it was, but he would go there. They would book him. And he was at that point, he was singing, in Manila and everywhere, but they would bring him up and book him in a club up in Angeles City. This is before he like blew up to where he is now. But yeah, I still like Steve Perry's voice. I still like Steve Perry's voice. B-52s are in the 80s. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. There you go. Top 40 with Ricky D's. See, everybody. I saw AC/DC 79. They open up for Cheap Trick. AC/DC's on a concert. They're on a tour also. But I don't think it'd be the same without Malcolm. You know what I mean? Like if you've seen AC/DC in the 80s, 90s, you know what I mean? Yeah. Seeing them in their peak. Mitch Longerman. Is that it? Mitch? Good God, I can't even think. No, James O'Connor. James O'Connor is a subscriber of mine, lives in Philadelphia. We've met, we've talked here in the Philippines, had a little get together with him and his family. He grew up there in Philly, and he's a little bit older than me. But some of the concerts he was telling me he went to, I'm like, and this was in the 70s. If there was a band playing in Philadelphia, he was there. And I'm like, oh, you're so lucky to have seen them. Jackson Brown. Anyone remember Jackson Brown? Not big, but he was good. I remember Jackson Brown, Super Tramp. See, Ricky USA, I saw Jackson Brown during the running on Empty Tour. Great show. Disco Duck. Where are we at here? Leonard Skinner, yeah. ELO, Electric Light Orchestra. Yes. The closest I ever got to ELO, and ELO actually going to a concert in Philadelphia, you had the Spectrum. They're no longer there. The new stadiums are built there. Then you had the Vet. The Vet is where the Phillies played, the Eagles played, anything outdoor was played there. The Spectrum was where the Phillies played, or not the Phillies, the Sixers played, the Flyers played. Any indoor events were there. So we were over at the Vet watching a Phillies game, and there was an ELO concert being played in the Spectrum. I remember going to the top, no, on the outside rail, and I could hear him playing music in there. That's as close as I got to ELO. Yeah, but I remember them. Leonard Skinner. How can you not like Leonard Skinner? Except for Free Bird plays on and on and on, right? Metallica. Yeah. Metallica's on a tour now. They're on a big tour. Seen them 3 times in concert. Bryan Adams, John Mellencamp. Philly. I didn't know that, but yes, there will never be another Steve Perry. Yeah, That dude had like the voice amazing. Bruce says, who remembers Jay and the Americans from the 60s? I love the song Come a Little Bit Close. Come, yeah. Jim said, I saw the Police, Janet Jackson, and Bryan Adams at the Aloha Gym in Honolulu in 81. You know what? Here's another one. I watched a documentary recently on Elvis. So, I didn't, of course, your mom and them grew up on Elvis, right? At least my mom grew up on Elvis. But man, what a showmanship. What a showman he was. He was your original showman, right? Think about it. He was your original showman. Before him, they would just stand up there. Before him, now, look at what they do now on stage. Ted Nugent, huh? Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent claims he never drank alcohol or did drugs. I don't know. CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival. I couldn't even tell you what the big songs are on the radio now, right? But what about, say Stretch, but Echo and the Bunnymen? Kansas, Carry On My Wayward Son, yes. You guys know what I'm talking about. How about, can you name a song? Hang on here. Can you name a song that rolls like a train from the beginning of the song to the end? You know what I mean? When you listen to music, you have music can start out low and then it can build and it can build and it can like thunder and then drop down. Sort of like Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven, right? The thing starts out slow and mellow and builds and builds and builds. And then bam, it just creates a massive strong sound and then dies off. Can you name like a song that like rolls like a train, like it just from the beginning to the end, it's like whoa, you know what I mean? The music's just rolling and it keeps you rolling. You know what I mean? Train by Blackfoot. Radar Love, Crazy Train. I'm not talking songs like Crazy Train. Here's mine. Led Zeppelin's Kashmir. That rip and that riff and that music just na 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 na, and it builds and then it keeps rolling. It keeps rolling. You know what I'm saying? You know how like Metallica music, right from the beginning, it's just like rolling. Can you name a song that does that? Crazy Train. Some of AC/DC songs do that. Maybe I lost you in what I'm thinking, but Aerosmith, Train Keeps Rolling. Yeah. Train keeps rolling. Na, 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 na. Oyster Cult, AC. Yeah. Thunder. Na, 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 na. That one rolls from the beginning, Blue Oyster Cult. What song? Give me songs now. Hang on a second. Think about it. I'll be right back. I got to run downstairs real quick. All right. Got to check on my breakfast. Don't Feel the Reaper. Let me take my hand, don't feel the reaper. Yeah. One is The Loneliest Number by Three Dog Night. Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody starts out slow, then it builds, and then it goes back down. Talking about the music itself. A lot of times I like just the music, the sounds that are just coming out. Like, man, turn on some Pink Floyd and just listen to the crazy sounds, right? AC ACDC was the best with Scott Bon, or Bon Scott. Yeah, he was, but they did pretty damn good with what is his name? I guess Brian Scott. Brian Scott, Bon Scott. I can't think of his name now. I can see his face. Comfortably numb. Yeah. Yeah, but that gets you like in a trance. That comfortably numb. You know, Pink Floyd songs will get you in a trance. Some of their songs, right? All right, Mike. Take care. Thank you for stopping in. It'll get you in a trance. I remember a good friend of mine passed away. He went to a Pink Floyd concert. He said he at one point he was gripping his seat arms where you rest your arms so hard his hand hurt. He said he was just so engulfed with the noise and the sound and the music and the screens. It like put him in a trance. I'm not saying he wasn't, smoking a little something, but yes, Rush. My very first concert I ever went to in the Spectrum. Power Window Tours. I remember for three guys playing music, the drummer, the keyboard player, and Geddy Lee, the drummer, Neil Peart, the best drummer to ever live. For three guys, I remember them playing, and I remember the Spectrum floor, my feet, I could feel the floor vibrating. That's how loud they played. They're another good one. Rush. One of my favorite from long ago was Tommy James and the Shondells. Have many songs I loved. Yeah. I don't know the songs, but the name, right? Tommy James and the Shondells. You love how they would take the lead singer and group them with like the backup singers. You're like, I like watching some of them old videos and stuff of back in those days. Bruce, I think you're a little older than me, but yeah. Slow Ride was a great rolling skating song. See, Jim, you're like me. I would roller skate too. Slow Ride. I'm not going to sing it. Take it easy. Yeah. I'm not saying ACDC was good after Bon Scott. Yeah, they were both of them. Both, what is his name? Brian Mays, whoever, and Bon Scott. They're both great singers for the band, you know. Speaking of Bon Scott, I just seen a documentary on him. Yeah. Brian Johnson. That's it. Brian Johnson. I heard this Brian Johnson story from the Howard Stern show when Howard Stern was actually funny. All right. He sat down with Brian Johnson. And how did you become the lead singer for AC/DC after the death of Bon Scott? He said, I seen there was an ad wanted. He goes, I wasn't going to go, but then he went in and he just sang a song. And the rest is history. But yeah, the guy wasn't going to go. Can you imagine if he didn't go? Pinball Wizard, yeah. Pinball Wizard, Iron Maiden. The Cars, yeah. Black Sabbath, yeah. Black Sabbath and Ozzy. Ozzy still wants to do one more tour. I don't know. Grand Funk Railroad. What about not Led Zeppelin, but what about Van Halen? All right. People are going to have their own opinion on Van Halen. Who was better, David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar? You know what I mean? Who was better for Van Halen? I like both. Eddie or David Lee had his own thing, his own way of singing, his own way of entertainment. Sammy Hagar had his own way. I like them both. I really do. Genesis, Fleetwood Mac, yep. John Fogerty, CCR, Jimi Hendrix, Jethro Tull, yes. Doobie Brothers, The Police. Yeah, the list goes on. David Lee Roth, Swagger, yes. David Lee Roth was the showman. He was the frontman. He was all about all that craziness. You know what I mean? Hey, the chicks digged it, right? Doobie Brothers, Police, Weird Al Yankovic. All right, guys, I am going to wrap this one up. My breakfast is almost done. But yeah, thanks for these are all great names you guys put out there, bands, music, and so we go from talking about the Philippines to talking about our age group, right? Which is cool. That's why a lot of people in the, that are in the live streams and stuff can relate. A lot of people can relate to what I say because we're all from kind of the same age, you know, younger, older. But don't get me wrong, I have a younger crowd also. But anyways, guys, back 2 steps too early. What about a Ram Jam, huh? Black Betty. Oh, Black Betty. Bam, like Ram Jam. See, now I'm going through all. Next week's live stream, we are going to talk about wrestling, right? So if you're into wrestling, we're going to talk about, we have to say wrestling, right? If you're into wrestling, we'll talk about some wrestling, see if it goes back. Anyways, guys, Sammy had a lot more talent than what I think Sammy did have a lot more musical talent. Anyways, we thanks again for stopping in. Leaving comments, putting your suggestions in. Everybody have a good day back in the States. Have a good Memorial Day. They don't celebrate Memorial Day like a United States Memorial Day here in the Philippines, just United States. They do have a Memorial Day in the Philippines on their own counter. So everybody have a good Memorial Day. The old NWA was, now Ricky, we're going to talk about that. We will talk about that. So, all right, guys, take care and see you on the next one.